Nathaniel Carter, the talented CEO of Carter Innovations, walked briskly through the crowded New York airport, his mind still occupied with the important meetings ahead. As always, work was his top priority until a clear, childlike voice rang out above the noise. "Daddy!" Nathaniel froze. He wasn't sure if he had misheard, but when he turned around, his eyes immediately locked onto a young woman standing just a few steps away. She had soft brown hair and deep blue eyes he could never forget. Victoria Monroe. But what truly stunned him were the two little twin girls standing beside her, their bright eyes fixed on him with excitement. One of them, the more energetic one, grabbed her sister's hand and pointed straight at Nathaniel. "Daddy, is that you?" Nathaniel's heart pounded in his chest as he took a closer look. The two little girls looked just like him, from the sharp features on their faces to the same piercing blue eyes. A truth he could no longer ignore began to take shape in his mind, but it was too sudden, too unbelievable. "Victoria," his voice came out hoarse, barely above a whisper. What is this?" Victoria tightened her grip on their hands, her eyes filled with guilt, sorrow, and a shadow of fear. She had always known this day would come, but she never expected it to be so soon. "They're your daughters, Nathaniel," she said softly. But those words hit him like a storm, tearing through his world. Nathaniel couldn't take his eyes off the two little girls. His entire reality was unraveling. He had just found the woman he once loved, and at the same time he had discovered that he was a father. Nathaniel stood frozen in the middle of the airport, his mind spinning with Victoria's words. Isabella and Scarlett, his daughters. It was too much to process in just a few short seconds. His heart pounded, a storm of shock, anger, and pain surging through him. "Victoria, why did you keep this from me?" His voice was hoarse, his eyes burning with hurt. 5 years? You disappeared for 5 years, and now you're telling me I have 2 children? Victoria met his gaze, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. She clung tightly to Isabella and Scarlett's tiny hands as if letting go would make everything disappear. "Nathaniel, I didn't have a choice," she choked out, her voice trembling with raw emotion. "You have no idea what happened after I left. My father, he was in debt to people you can't even imagine. They threatened to hurt anyone connected to me, including you." Nathaniel narrowed his eyes, his jaw tightening. "So your solution was to just vanish? To let me spend 5 years wondering what happened, torturing myself with questions?" Victoria shuddered as memories of those desperate nights flooded her mind. The fear, the running, holding her babies close without knowing what tomorrow would bring. "I did it to protect you, Nathaniel. If you had known, you would have searched for me. You wouldn't have let me go. And that would have put you in danger." Nathaniel drew in a deep breath, his emotions a turbulent mix of fury and heartache. He couldn't deny it. If he had known, he would have done everything in his power to keep Victoria with him. But 5 years, so much had been lost, so much damage had been done. His gaze shifted to Isabella and Scarlett, 2 little angels, his daughters, the children he never knew existed. The ache in his chest was soon replaced by something stronger, a fierce determination. "You don't have to run anymore, Victoria," he said, his voice low but unwavering. "I will protect you and our daughters." A storm raged in Nathaniel's chest. Everything was happening too fast, too suddenly. Just minutes ago, he was a successful businessman in complete control of his life. Now his world had been turned upside down. Not only had the love he lost returned, but he also had 2 daughters he had never known about. A deep ache crept into his heart as he thought about the years he had missed. Their first steps, their laughter, their tiny arms reaching out for hugs, the childhood dreams he should have been there to witness. But right now, there was no time to dwell on emotions. Victoria and the girls were in danger. If those men were still after her, he couldn't let them keep running. His jaw tightened, his fists clenching as his sharp gaze locked onto Victoria. "We can't stay here any longer," he said firmly. "You said you've been running for 5 years, but you don't have to do it alone anymore. I'll handle everything." Victoria looked at him, doubt and hope flickering in her deep blue eyes. She had spent so long fighting on her own, shielding Isabella and Scarlett from the dangers of her past. But now, with Nathaniel standing before her, could she trust him again? Before she could say anything, Nathaniel pulled out his phone and made a call. His voice was urgent and unwavering. "Cole, I need you immediately. Set up security at Crescent Hotel and find me a safe place to stay." Hanging up, he crouched down to face the two little girls. Isabella clutched her doll tightly while Scarlett clung to their mother. Gently, he reached out and touched his daughter's tiny hand, a silent promise forming deep within him. No matter what happened, he would not lose this family again. As soon as Victoria and the girls were settled in the hotel room, Nathaniel stepped out to meet with Cole. He couldn't afford any risks. Not now, not when he had a family to protect. But just as he reached the hallway, his phone vibrated. An unknown number. His instincts flared with caution as he answered the call without speaking. A low, gravelly voice echoed through the line, dragging out each word with chilling precision. "Well, well, Nathaniel Carter. So you really had no idea about the kids. How touching." Nathaniel's breath hitched, his entire body tensed. "Who the hell are you?" he growled. "Oh, just an old acquaintance of Victoria's father," the man sneered. "He owed us quite a lot, and now it seems that debt will be settled in a different way." A dark chuckle followed. "Victoria hid well, I'll give her that. But she forgot one thing: no one can run forever." Rage burned through Nathaniel, but he forced himself to stay calm. "If you lay a finger on them, I swear I will end you." The man let out a sinister laugh, dripping with malice. "The real question is, how long can you protect them?" The line went dead. Nathaniel stared at his phone, his heartbeat hammering in his chest. They knew where Victoria was. They knew about Isabella and Scarlett. There was no doubt now, his family was a target. He spun on his heels and rushed back to the hotel room. The moment he pushed open the door, Victoria's eyes locked onto his, immediately sensing something was wrong. "Nathaniel, what happened?" she asked, her voice laced with worry. His fists clenched, his expression resolute. "We're not safe here anymore. Get ready. We're leaving. Now." Victoria tightened her arms around their daughters, her heart pounding in fear. She had been running for 5 years, but this time she wasn't running alone. The car sped down the dark road, streetlights casting blurred streaks of light across Nathaniel's tense face. In the back seat, Victoria held her daughters close, her heart pounding with unease. Scarlett leaned against her mother, her tiny hand clutching Victoria's shirt tightly, while Isabella stared out the window, her eyes filled with uncertainty. "Where are we going?" Isabella's small voice trembled with worry. Nathaniel glanced at her through the rearview mirror before turning to Victoria. "We need somewhere safe. I had Cole find us a house in the suburbs, maximum security. They won't be able to track us easily there." Victoria nodded, but fear still clung to her. She had been running for 5 years, and now, even with Nathaniel protecting them, she wasn't sure if they could ever truly escape the shadows of the past. By the time they arrived at their new home, dawn was breaking. The estate was hidden deep within a pine forest, surrounded by reinforced security fences. Cole was already waiting, meticulously scanning the perimeter before ushering them inside. "We'll be safe here," Nathaniel said firmly, but his sharp gaze remained wary, ever watchful. Victoria knelt beside Isabella and Scarlett, kissing their foreheads gently. "I promise, everything will be okay." But just as she tucked the girls into bed, Nathaniel's phone vibrated. A message, short, chilling. "You think you can hide them forever?" His chest tightened. The danger wasn't over, but this time he wouldn't let anyone take his family away from him again.